tú también, tú eres el que lo trae.
Ok, estoy aquí con, ¿cómo se llama? ¿Glauria?
Claudia.
Claudia, mucho gusto. Estoy un poquito viejo, no puedo escuchar
no,
bien.
Correcto, está bien.
Ok, entonces...
Mi hijo
ajá,
vende
atún fresco
fresco.
de la Cruz de Guanacaxtle. Ok,
Ajá.
entonces no es diario, es cuando hay atún,
no,
¿sí?
nada más cuando hay atún.
Ajá,
Ajá.
muy bien.
Sí. Entonces, pues,
Okay.
quien guste hacer pedidos,
Okay.
me piden y tiene algo de...
Okay. ¿Puedes dar mi número? Entonces tú puedes mandarme un WhatsApp por la próxima vez,
sí.
porque hoy tenemos como una cena con amigos.
Ok. Mi número es...
Ya, tú puedes decirme y voy a recordarlo.
Ok. Es 322
Ajá.
170
Ajá.
44 62.
Entonces, si hay alguien que quiere atún fresco, ellos pueden mandarte un WhatsApp.
Sí, claro.
¿Sí?
Que sí. Ajá.
Ok, mucho gusto.
Muchas gracias.
Okay.
Hasta luego.
Buen día.
Bye.
All right, see, that is why I love to go walk around my neighborhood because, you know, things just come to you. Jillian, this is one thing Jillian says, in Mexico, if you need something, it's literally going to come to you. I remember a time where there was like a huge rainstorm and Jillian's windshield wiper like flew off the car and she was pulling into what was then the Mega. And she's like, man, I gotta go find a windshield wiper. And literally a guy walked up to her car, tapped on the window, and he was selling windshield wipers. So go figure. Anyways, guys, bienvenidos to another episode. We're gonna do something, again, a little bit different. Got a lot of comments, got some emails from people saying they wanna know more about who El Mencho was. So we're gonna watch a little documentary together. It's not very long. It's, I think, just under 5 minutes. So we'll watch that together. Once it's finished, I'll kind of like break it down, summarize it, give you guys my thoughts and opinion, and then we'll just say adios. We're gonna go inside to the little home office. I'll bring up the documentary and let's watch it together. Listo? Are you ready? All right, everybody, we're back just like that. That was a pleasant surprise to meet Claudia. And again, if you want to order fresh atún, she's got fresh atún today, so you can reach out to her on WhatsApp. I'm gonna put the number back here on the screen. And yeah, you can get your fresh tuna. I'm gonna try to order some from her next week. All right, guys, without further ado, I'm gonna bring up the documentary now. Let's watch it together. And at the end of it, I'm going to give you my reaction. Okay, are we listo? Listo means ready. Now let's just bring it up and press play.
Those who live outside of Mexico only hear one version of Mexico, a version built from Netflix, mainstream media headlines, fear, and a handful of names repeated over and over. And for the last decade, no name has carried more weight in that narrative than Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho. But if you actually live here, if you walk the streets and talk to your neighbors, you learn quickly that the headlines and the lived reality rarely match. His name became a symbol because it was convenient. U.S. agencies offered enormous rewards. Media outlets framed him as the embodiment of danger. But symbols flatten complexity. Mexico is a country of regions, histories, and local dynamics, and El Mencho emerged from one of the places where those dynamics are most visible. Understanding him requires understanding the environment that shaped him. He was born in 1966 in Aguililla, Michoacán, a rural community defined by poverty, agriculture, and limited opportunity. He grew up farming avocados, left school early, and crossed into the United States illegally in the 1980s. In California, he was arrested multiple times on drug and weapons charges, eventually serving federal prison time for heroin trafficking before being deported. His return to Mexico didn't reset his life. It placed him back into the same structural pressures he had left behind. Back home, he joined the Millennial Cartel, a smaller organization connected to larger networks. The late 2000s were a period of fragmentation across Mexico's criminal landscape. Leaders were arrested or killed, alliances collapsed, and entire regions were destabilized. Out of that chaos, Oseguera and others formed what became the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. CJNG expanded rapidly, filling power vacuums and adopting a more aggressive, militarized approach than older groups. As CJNG grew, so did the mythology around its leader. Stories circulated about him hiding in the mountains of Jalisco, Michoacan, or Colima, constantly moving, protected by loyal fighters. Some of those stories were true, some exaggerated, and some deliberately crafted by the organization itself. But CJNG was never a simple top-down hierarchy. It operated as a decentralized network with regional commanders and shifting internal alliances. On February 22, 2026, the long pursuit ended. Mexican military forces, supported by U.S. intelligence, launched an operation in the mountains near Tapalpa, Jalisco. Oseguera was seriously wounded during the confrontation and died while being transported toward Mexico City. Within hours, CJNG responded with coordinated blockades and arson across several states. It was a national event with political weight, but daily life in most coastal towns and expat communities continued with surprising normalcy. Foreigners often assume that when a cartel leader dies, the organization collapses. In reality, these groups adapt. Leadership losses create internal struggles, but rarely dismantle the structure. CJNG, like most cartels, is built to survive disruption. For people living in Mexico, the impact depends entirely on where they are. Tourist corridors and expat regions operate under different incentives, and open conflict is bad for business on all sides. If you're considering retirement in Mexico or trying to understand what safety actually looks like here, the important thing to know is that Mexico is not defined by its cartels. It's defined by its people, its regions, and the daily rhythms that continue regardless of headlines. El Mencho was a major figure in a specific chapter of Mexico's criminal landscape, but he was not the story of Mexico itself. Understanding this country requires context, not fear. It requires seeing complexity instead of simple narratives. And it requires recognizing that life here continues quietly and steadily, far beyond the stories that dominate the news.
That I found pretty interesting. I probably got a few takeaways on this. I guess first and foremost, and probably the biggest priority right now, and one of the reasons I'm doing a few more videos than normal, is to get realistic news out there. I'm still shocked at even seeing something on Fox News, a piece. I don't watch Fox News, I don't watch any news, but I have been kind of scanning to see what's kind of going on there, but literally reporting yesterday that things were still going on. So it's just insane that the mainstream media is milking this for every drop that they can get. You know, other than the man himself, I mean, I think the most important takeaway out of this, and it doesn't matter if it's regime changes in another country or trying to do a takedown like they did here in Mexico, these organizations, governments, nothing just collapses. Basically, as pointed out in the documentary, it just really creates a power vacuum, and leadership is going to be changed. So I kind of like view this as a regime change and nothing more. But the silver lining in this entire thing is that literally, guys, within a few days, things were literally back to normal, and it's really back to normal as of today, and it's like honestly like nothing ever happen. And the final takeaway for me, and I'm surprised there's still people out there that just don't get it, is Mexico's a huge country, very, very diverse. If you really put things into context, criminal organizations here make up a very small percentage of the population, maybe like 0.5%. And the final takeaway I have, and I'm still and one of the things I'm really surprised that there's still some people that don't get, is that these type of organizations exist in the United States, and they exist even in Canada. Yes, guys, they do. And they're not Mexican. These are generational cartels, if you want to call them that have been around since almost time began. They're very well integrated into society. They run like professional organizations, and a lot of them, like for example, if they're doing import, they're on the distribution end of things. It is big, huge business. If the governments really wanted to crack down on the drug problem in the United States and in Canada, they'd literally be shutting these guys down today. But they're not. So we have to put on our thinking cap and just put that into perspective. But more importantly, guys, is I'm really interested to know what is your perspective. And the way I'm going to find this out is to have you comment right now in the video. What is your perspective on what had happened in Mexico? What is your perspective on what is kind of happening in general in the world? There's no holds barred, so just let me know what's on your mind, and I'll do my best to respond to as many comments as possible. And while you're at it, if you could give me a like on this video, if you could toggle that little notification bell, and share this video with someone you think that'll enjoy it, that will really help YouTube push this video to more and more people. Well, I hope you enjoyed this format on this Sunday. If I get a good response from it, I will do more of this, and it'll turn into an opportunity for all of us to learn more about Mexico, because, man, there's still a lot of things that I don't know that I would like to do more research on, and maybe this is a way that we can actually do it together. All right, guys, on that note, as I like to say when I sign off on every video, nos vemos, hasta luego, and adios, desde Bucerías, aquí en Bucerías, México.